Okay, it's important to now let's go to this episode, the comparator. This is a comparator. You might have seen it. It's a redstone component. It is two states. Well, it is more states if you include the on and off states, but I mean the subtract mode states. And it's for this first start, it's important to know that any item of redstone has a signal strength. Depending on how small power source is nearby and the length from it. We're not going into what and how redstone these redstone states work, but the comparator uses these to do operations. And this is also what there's two of them, two modes. So each piece has a signal strength at maximum of 15. If we input from behind, just input the signal strength into a comparator, it will output the same signal strength, no matter what. But if you just place a comparator down and you have a back input, you can turn on the back input, and as long as the side input is stronger than the back input, this input is inputting in this side or this side is stronger than the input from this side, then the comparator goes off. But if this side is as strong, the comparator won't go off. Only when this side is stronger than this side. And of course, what you can do is make two different ones. Example, now the comparator will go. You can use two sides, and this one on the back. You can use two in the back. If you turn this one on, the comparator will not turn on. But if you do this one, only when this one goes on, the comparator will turn on. But we have our last and second mode. Well, our last mode, you turn on this torch, you get subtract mode. Normally, the comparator just outputs what is input into it. Here it is actually exactly the same. It outputs 15 because this thing is 15. The redstone dust is 15. But if we were to input a redstone dust at 14, the output is 1. Because this subtract mode is exactly that. It subtracts the side input from the back input. And let me check real quick. And I believe that doing both, and this doesn't matter if you have two side inputs. It will choose the strongest side input. This is now 15. I will subtract 15 from this. You won't have an output. This is really useful in components we just want to stop the output. Or if you want only something to output when it is smaller or bigger than something. Because this now enters 1, is now 2. And comparators go from 15 to 2. So you can do math with this, of course, also. If you don't press this button, you just get the same signal strength out. But if this signal strength is stronger than this one, it won't. The big difference is that this thing doesn't change the signal strength, but only outputs when the signal strength to the side is lower than that from the back. Difference on this side, this output is always output a signal strength. It just outputs the back signal strength. So in this case 15 subtracted by the strongest side inputted signal strength. That just means if this thing is 6 and this thing is 4, and that will subtract 6 from your back input and will output that. So if your side input is as strong as your back input, or stronger, this input will be 0, as there is no negative thing to use here. And of course there is also the most obvious way to use a comparator. It is with chest. Many use chest for this. Just put an item into a chest, you get an output. And what you can do with a repeater, you can just place it down and get an infinite output. This is the only thing that can read from chests, from inventories. This is really useful. And what you also can do with comparators is let a signal strength pass. For example, this is the side input. This is now doing something. No. This is the side input. This thing turns on, there's no output. What you can do is let a signal pass. For example, if you're making a game, you want, example, you can make, for example, settings with this. For example, if you, for example, want to turn on off a specific feature of your game from happening, you can just put a comparator on that output of the feature, and then that feature won't work because it cannot output through this. It will always be 0. If you need it to be 1, well, just use a resin torch and a block, because, well, you know how I believe a resin works a bit, and because this thing will now be inverted. If we need to be on, always on, then you can just invert it. That's just, yeah, how it works, just with a torch. Other maps are inverting, but this is the most simple. And standard comparator will bring you the versatility. For example, to memory, because for memory, if you want to output something, for example, also for this, for example, settings, you can also make more settings. Well, you can make this thing, for example, certain length, for example, this amount of blocks. You can place, for example, one here down. This thing won't go. This thing won't let anything to. If this thing won't let anything to true. 1, 2, 3, 4. But this one will only stop the last output from going through, and you can make different settings with that. I don't know really how you can try to make for example, this one doesn't let these two go through, and this one only lets that one go through. And the comparator is really useful for that, for example, or for memory, because for memory you have, of course, the comparator. What you do in the comparator is you store value. For example, if I were to I'm inputting this value into the comparator. Let's put this thing here for it. Looks, you see the lamp now goes on. If I turn this off, the lamp just turns off. But if I were to lock the comparator, turn this thing off, the lamp doesn't go off because the lock comparator remembers this value. But right now, if you wanted to read this, I could put here another comparator. You might say you want to read this. I just, oh, sorry. When I want to read this, I just turn on the comparator, right? Turn on the thing. I close it, but what if I send now in a signal that is off? This thing still stays on, even though I'm no longer reading it, because this thing just holds lost value. What you do is you take your comparator, you place your comparator down onto subtract mode, and now when I pass in a value, the value doesn't stick behind. The value just no longer gets outputted. This is stopping to output. This is outputting. The value is no longer an output. So, well, yeah, you're no longer reading it. This is the most simple memory cell in Minecraft. You can also store, for example, signal strength, of course, but that's, you can also use comparator to store signal strength. And also to transmit signal strength. You just, for example, if you need signal strength to go from A to B, and let's say you want to go the signal strength, you're using 11th or something. Just place comparator down, because it can't go more than this. And another block, another signal strength of 11, and then again the comparator. You can do it even better by placing a block here. You extend the same length of signal strength for one block longer, and you can repeat this infinitely long. Of course, this is really slow. You can do translations and shit, but this is the most simple way of doing it. And I would thank you for watching. Please comment what you want to see. More collections of components, and I will dropping my second video on the written computer about information pretty soon. So if you want to see that, please subscribe. I see you next time. Thank you for watching.